Hey, what's up, nerds? It's Paul at Radio Free Hammer Hall. Been a while since I just did a video with my face in it, I think. Um, my laptop seems to be not really working at the moment. I was going to do a PowerPoint presentation for this, but I guess we're just going to chat. So I want to talk about getting into Age of Sigmar on a budget, which is, um, a big deterrent, I think, for a lot of players to get into the game. So, I wanted to talk about kind of how we can decrease the cost and what the cost actually ends up looking like. So, I would generally say that it's very easy to not pay MSRP for anything that you buy. Um, Between online retailers that you can get like 15-20% off on, eBay that you can get things potentially even cheaper than that, and that's still all new on sprue, new in box stuff. Um, you can get maybe 20-30% off pretty commonly on a lot of things. And I think that's kind of like the start of understanding it. A lot of folks approach these things and they don't really think about how you might be able to find cheaper options. You see things in a store and don't really think of that being much of an option other than like going to the Games Workshop website, which is going to be the same pricing. So, um, one of the simple ways to get in on more of a budget is just to buy the bundle boxes of various types that Games Workshop sells. The easy one is the Spearhead boxes and the Vanguard boxes that just haven't been renamed to Spearhead yet. Those are generally like 25-30% off of MSRP of everything individually in the box. Um, and then in addition to that, like buying that um, through a cheaper means, that's going to really even compound those savings. So you can get really substantial amount off of MSRP just by buying a bundle online. Uh, Other things they do every for the holiday season for Christmas, they kind of like colloquially known as like the Christmas boxes, but they're usually called Battle Force boxes, and there's usually a handful of them each year for a few different armies, and those are basically like Spearhead, but just a bigger box, right? You're looking at a box that's probably like 200 and change, like on the low 200s for a box, but you're still again getting really good value out of that for what it is, and they're often pretty good selections of units that are in there. Um, the downside to these sort of starter boxes is, or the bundled boxes, they're not always going to include units you really want. So you might initially kind of be in a place where I just want to get to 2,000 points. The standard game is 2,000 points. I just want to get past the line to be able to play a game. And I'm going to worry about being good at it later. Um, that really is a good place to start, especially if you have folks that you're playing with that are understanding of that and might play lists that are a little bit more casual, powered down to match up well with what you're playing with. Um, in addition to that, there's also often these like launch boxes for new factions. So when a new big release happens with either a new army or a total like rework of a lot of the models in an army, they tend to launch these boxes. They'll usually have the army's battle tome in it, their book with all the rules, and a whole bunch of models from this uh, selection of new things that are out there. Also, those are usually a discount compared to what you would ordinarily pay, and they are also like the battle tomes that are in there are usually like a special edition one, so it's kind of a cool collector's thing to have those. Uh, all of that great stuff. And one of the other things that's going to end up probably requiring a little bit more legwork is the two-player starter boxes that get released. Usually, I think there's one like every summer, and it the trick is with these that they're two-player starters. So there's actually models from two different armies. So if you're really only interested in one of those armies, you're gonna have something to figure out with the rest of them. Whether you split it with a friend or sell it off on eBay with the stuff that you don't want. Um, you know, trade into a store, sell to somebody. Um, there's options out there to do those sorts of things. Again, those are usually at a pretty big discount. A lot of times, though, those are going to be the push fit models rather than regular models to glue together. So those can be not quite as good as the regular models sometimes, and sometimes they're different sculpts as well. So that's just kind of something to look out for. But if we're looking just at a budget, you're not really going to be caring too much about that. So with all of that, how much does it actually cost to get into the game? And the answer is it depends. If you're just looking to get to 2,000 points, a lot of armies you can probably do it for around $500 or $600 at the most if you're just looking to get in at the base level, just getting models on the table for a 2,000 point game, which is compared to what you would pay MSRP and a variety of other hobbies. It's not. It's kind of a lot at the outset, that initial buy-in to something, but once you get that 2,000 points and can really play a full game, you can kind of hold on to that for a while, and you don't really need to expand it too much, especially if you're new and you're just trying to learn how to play the game, figure out how all the mechanics work, and figure out what you might want to add later. And you don't necessarily need to. I guess the only caveat to that is points values change over time, depending on how things are shaking out in competitive play mostly. So you might end up with more room in your list or less, so you might need to take something out or add something to stay around 2,000 points. But that is, a little bit more of a consideration for like down the road. Typically, what you can really do is just grab a couple of different boxes, say like one of the Battle Force boxes and a Spearhead box, and a lot of times you're like almost all the way to 2,000 points already. Might just like buy one more small box, like a hero or something like that, to fill things out. Other ways you can really get in more at a discount compared to buying new models, like new inbox stuff. You can often buy pre-owned models on eBay, things that are maybe just already assembled, things that are primed, things that are painted, maybe things that are a little busted up and broken, have some maybe pieces missing, stuff like that. That is a really good way, because those are going to be even less expensive than buying things at a discount. So what you can also do, as I mentioned before, buy stuff out of those bundle boxes. There's something in it that you don't want, you can go flip it on eBay to have a little bit of extra cash to then go buy more of what you're actually looking for. So there's certainly some options for you out there. I highly generally recommend eBay. What was interesting that I noticed in doing this, there was one of the Battle Force boxes that on eBay it's going for like 270, and when I randomly just kind of Googled for it, like there's places on Amazon still selling it for like 180 something, like 185. I was shocked. Makes me actually want to go like buy that just to flip it online. I happen to have 3 of the particular box already anyway, so I don't really need anything in it, but still fun to have. So yeah, I mean, I think that's about it for now. I think there's really a lot of options for you. I'm happy to answer questions that anybody has down below as well. Trading, buying from local people, also a good option. You're typically like the further you get away from stuff that is new and in the box from a retailer that is selling at MSRP, the further you get from that, the cheaper things are going to be. Hopefully that is helpful to some folks out there. That's kind of it for now, and I will talk to you all later.